We're now going to take a look at some list comprehension examples. So we're going to begin with something very simple, adding 100 to a sequence of integers. I'm going to show this using the old way, a normal for loop and a list. So I'll just create a variable called result that'll hold the list of integers that we're going to add 100 to. And then I'm just going to iterate through, let's just say some numbers. Let's go from 50 to 60. This can be very simple. And what I'm going to do here is the old way always uses the append method. With list comprehensions, we don't need this method. It just sort of automatically appends and updates the list. So I'm just going to append I plus 100. That's all I'm going to do here. And then I will exit the loop and just output the result. Let's rewrite this as a list comprehension. So again, for list comprehensions, we're just going to put the square brackets defining a list. We can take the for loop part, paste it in here. So it's the exact same thing. And then we just want the expression or the one line of code that is actually happening. We don't have to use the append method. We don't have to say result because we're just creating a new list over here. So I'm gonna put what's actually happening over here on the left side, the beginning of the list comprehension. So our simple list comprehensions are just composed of two parts. Again, it's just the for loop and then the expression of that one line of code. And then let me execute this and I get the same exact result. All right, let's move on. Let's determine whether an integer is even or odd. So let's say we are iterating through a range object again, and this time I will just go ahead and begin with the list comprehension. So say we're going for I in range, let's do the first, say 10 numbers, and I want to determine whether each one of these is even or odd, and by that I just mean return the result of true or false. So the expression, that means the body of the for loop will go in front over here. So I'm going to use the modulus operator. I'm going to say divided by 2. And if it equals 0, that means there's no remainder. It is even. If it is otherwise, it will be false. So this will be an expression that evaluates as either true or false. So I is going to continue increasing 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. And we're going to get the remainder. If the remainder is 0, it is even. Otherwise, it is false. Moving on, let's get the length of each word in a list. So say we have a list of strings over here, right? And we want to just get the length of each one. Well, we can do this with a list comprehension. This time, our for loop, we're going to not iterate through a range object. We're going to iterate through this list. So say for word in words. So again, the loop variable can be anything you want. The iterable in this case is going to be a list of strings. And then we're going to put the one line of code over here in the beginning. So what do we want to do with this word? Well, we just want to get the length of it like this. So this will just be the one line of code. And 4, 14, 3, 2, 9. Good. So that looks good. And very quickly, we can just write it in the normal way. So for word in words, colon, enter, go to the new line. And instead of just making it, actually, you know what, let's just not be lazy. And we'll just say, again, we'll create a result. This is the old way again, result.append length of word. And then we can just look at the result. Okay, so that's how you do it the old way. Again, you have to create the list, an empty list first. Then you do one line for the loop, the for loop. Make sure you have a loop variable and then your iterable. Then you have a colon at the end. And then you take that list you created, use the append method, and then you have your one line of code over here. And then you just output the result. Okay, so list comprehension, as you can see, shortens this up. And once you get used to reading them, they will be a lot more readable. And a lot of people prefer them than to writing this code like this. So this is a very popular feature in Python. All right, let's do a couple more. So selecting the last character of each string. So let's just use this this same list over here, these words. So let me just copy and paste this over here. So for word in words, I'm going to get the last character. So my expression will be different. It's not just the length of the word. I want to get the current word and get the very last character, just like this. So hopefully you remember how to select characters from strings with the square brackets like this. And this will just select that last character, T, S, N, E, and G. You can also do, I'll just change it right here. Let's say I wanted to select the last 3 characters like this, -3 to the end. So you can do whatever you want. Let's keep going. Get the Unicode code point for each character in a string. So this is going to be different. So say we have some string, I'll just call it S, and we'll say it is the word comprehensions. Okay, so what I want to do in this code is just go through one character at a time. This is a string now. My iterable is a string, not a list. And I want to get the Unicode code point. So if you forgot how to get the Unicode code point, it's with this ORD function. And like if I put one character in here, it'll return that code point. That is C, that is O, and so forth. Okay, so let's create our list comprehension. So first I'm going to start out with my for loop. So for car in S, I'm going to iterate through each character in S. This is the loop variable. It can be anything you want. Now in the beginning, I'm going to do my operation, my expression, and I'm going to say ORD of, not S, of car. So I'm going to pass car into the ORD function, and this will return its Unicode code point. All right. Rolling a dice some number of times. So let's just say I want to roll a die, just whatever, 10 times. Let's go ahead and what we'll have to do here is import that random module, which we talked about in the last module. And then we'll have a square brackets. And let's say we want to roll a die 10 times. So for I in range 10. And now, so that is my loop. Right, then I come back over here to write the expression, which will be random.randint. To remember that function, we use 1 to 1, 6. So this is how you produce a single random number between 1 and 6. And this will do 10 of them. So there we go. In this case, we don't use I, the loop variable. It is not used. But you still need a loop variable even if you are not using it. So that's how we just loop through the first, or just create 10 iterations, right? So we just create 10 iterations, and it's going to do a random dice roll each of those 10 times. All right, so hopefully going through some of these examples is really helpful in seeing how list comprehension works.